How's everybody doing today? Let's talk true crime today. Today we're going to talk about why Dee Dee Blanchard isn't the monster you think she is. There's a channel called True Crime Design that put this video out about a year ago. So we're going to go ahead and review this one because I would really like to, let's quit talking shit about Dee Dee Blanchard, regardless of what kind of person she was, okay? Because she was never convicted of anything or diagnosed with anything. It's all upon what Gypsy Rose says, which is just horrible things. To me, you've already done the horrible. You unalived your mother. You talked an autistic guy into doing it. He's spending the rest of his life in prison. And, the Gypstein files, sweetheart, you're being compared to the Epstein case. They're comparing you to Charles Manson, comparing you to Lori Vallow Daybell, Chad Daybell, the California, man, my brain is going blank right now. Never mind, I remember those Menendez brothers, and I'm sure there's a few more out there that you're actually being compared to. I personally would not want to be compared to them, but when you are you, and you're like, got this godlike complex and can go around and try to shut people's videos down and try to mess with their income while you're out here being a gypsy and conning people out of money, making people feel sorry for you. Regardless of what happened to you in your past, I have a news flash for you, sweetheart. We all got shit we can say that happened to us in our past, but we don't go around unaliving our parents. All right, you guys, I'm going to quit my rant now. Let's go. All right, you guys, this is why Dee Dee Blanchard should not be considered a monster. Did I say that right? Did I chop that up? Oh, it says why Dee Dee Blanchard isn't the monster you think she is. Okay, so let's see.
Victim turns out to be a suspect. Things are not always as they appear.
Called police yesterday when they spotted this post on the Facebook page Dee Dee Blanchard shared with her 19-year-old daughter, Gypsy Rose. Investigators say they found the mother violently murdered inside their home. And
by the way, Gypsy Rose was the one that put those posts on whenever she was at her boo's house. Her boo. Don't forget who your boo thing used to be, girlfriend. And obviously she was, the smartest person in the room, but however, she wasn't very fucking smart because they can always track the IP address back to your dumb ass. And you weren't 19 either, you were 23. But let's continue. Uh-oh, the twins. The twins. The twins. They look like twins.
And not true. You know that I love my mama, and you know that I would never.
Why is she crying? I mean, that ain't even a good act. A lying ass act, girl. You better act better than that.
Oh, very protective.
do you think she protected you?
No, not in certain ways, yes, in other ways, no. I think that she was very sick in her mind.
That what Dee Dee did to Gypsy was one of the most egregious forms of parental abuse you can imagine.
Because her mama was an insane, compulsive liar.
A lot of this information came to me by either Mike, my attorney, or Christy. My two attorneys are telling me that my mother has something called lunch house as my proxy, and she was using me for money and abusing me medically, and then tell me all of the lies and manipulation on top of it. So I felt, did I ever know her at all?
Gypsy's mom was abusing her physically, medically, giving her medication she didn't need, having her go through procedures that she didn't need, to the point where most of Gypsy's teeth are not even hers because of the medication that her mom was giving her that she had no condition for.
Okay. So listen, this this story's being spun by her attorney and her stepmom, which I'm pretty sure her stepmom didn't have this outlook before Dee Dee was unalived and Gypsy Rose was worth money, because everybody's like, it's entertainment. Hello. Unfortunately, it's sad to say, but what her and her boyfriend did, and golly, I hate to keep saying this, but damn it, they look like fucking twins, don't they? Especially in their mug shots, they truly do look like freaking twins. Maybe not today so much, but yeah. I'm pretty sure before Gypsy Rose got to be famous, all these movies made about her and all this money, I'm pretty sure old stepmama didn't give a damn, and daddy obviously didn't, because they knew where she was at the entire time. This isn't one video, HBO 2017. So, she's worth money. When you're worth money, people come out of the woodworks everywhere and they'll say whatever. Just my opinion.
The day that her mom died, Dee Dee was in the house somewhere, and Dee Dee was starving her. Like Dee Dee wasn't giving her anything to eat. I asked her sister, I was like, hey, to ask this, but you think Dee Dee had anything to do with her mom's death? And she, said, now I wonder. Hey, dude.
Okay, this video is titled Why Dee Dee Blanchard Isn't the Monster You Think She Is. Obviously, I haven't watched it. I'm watching it for the first time with you guys. So far, I'm not seeing it because I'm seeing the opinion of Dee Dee Blanchard from the current wife, which, by the way, Dee Dee and her were friends before Rob and the current wife got together. And they were friends even up until Dee Dee was unalived, and so was Rob. And in fact, there's plenty of evidence of that with all the new stuff that's come out, all the new juice on Gypsy Rose and all her consistencies. So we're going to go ahead and probably speed this up because I'm pretty sure that this video is titled exactly what it should be. But like I say, I'm watching it for the first time with you guys. So we're going to go ahead and just see where it actually comes into talking good things about Dee Dee over here.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard's moral and legal defense to justify her role as the mastermind of her mother's murder is based on...
All right, y'all, here we go. Here is the defense.
Her testimony that her mother tortured, abused, and isolated her for decades because of a rare psychiatric condition called Munchausen by proxy. Despite the fact that Dee Dee was never diagnosed, and frankly, she does not meet the diagnostic criteria for this condition. Factitious disorder, formerly referred to as Munchausen syndrome, is categorized by the intentional falsification of physical and or mental signs and symptoms in oneself or in another individual for no obvious external gain or reward. The diagnosis for an individual falsifying illness of another person, like in this case, is factitious disorder imposed on another. People with factitious disorders intentionally produce or exaggerate symptoms, but can't control their behavior. The primary motive is to assume the sick role, not for personal gain, but due to a psychological need to be perceived as ill.
Did you hear that? Not for personal gain. From what I could see, Gypsy Rose and her mom definitely put on this big act for financial gain, for reals. It was all about the financial gain. I mean, obviously, Dee Dee had, effed up past and shit. And, obviously she doesn't have the best history of it all, and she's good at conning people. And I'm pretty sure that she taught her daughter how to con people, because actually her daughter's still doing that same shit today for the weak-minded, unfortunately. All right, you guys, let's go.
Injured. The DSM-5 uses this criteria to diagnose factitious disorder imposed on another. I will say, in the case of Dee Dee Blanchard, she undoubtedly meets the first two criteria in that she, according to the evidence of record, falsified psychological and physical symptoms, as well as two diseases, muscular dystrophy and leukemia, which Gypsy never had or received treatment for. She also presented Gypsy as ill, impaired, and injured by shaving her head, making her use the wheelchair, and presenting her as childlike and mentally disabled. However, the analysis fails when it comes to the third and fourth points, that the deceptive behavior is evident even in the absence of obvious external rewards, and that the behavior is not better explained by another mental disorder. While I believe that Dee Dee did enjoy the attention of having an ill child, it's clear to me that the primary motivation was for personal gain.
Yes.
This is supported by Gypsy's testimony at Nick Godejohn's trial.
Did you and your mother obtain any kind of advantage by you being in a wheelchair?
Yes, sir.
What kind of advantage did you obtain?
You know, I love this video with Gypsy because she's definitely, you can't see her tail, you know, between her legs and shit, but it's definitely there because she's not like her normal spunkety spunk self. Which, by the way, let me just say that this bullshit with her getting all this crap after Hurricane Katrina, there were real people out there with real needs that really needed the help. There was a ton of people that passed away that lost their lives. And it's getting attention, but it doesn't get near the attention that she gets from being displaced by Hurricane Katrina. It just, I don't know. The whole situation sickens me because they are real people that really needed help. Real people. Lots of people passed, but all we got to do is go talk about old Gypsy Rose like she was the only mother flocker that was out there in New Orleans getting drowned out by the levees felon.
Financial attention, charity.
And I still like doing that today.
Did you obtain money as a result of you being in a wheelchair?
Yes, sir.
And I still do it today.
Why you obtained an advantage for being in a wheelchair? You said people gave me money, and I think my next question is why did they give you money?
Because they felt sorry for me. They believed the lie. They believed the fraud.
Well, there you have it, folks. This is not a case of MVP or factitious disorder imposed on another. Recall that people with factitious disorder feign illness or injury not to achieve a clear benefit, such as financial gain, but rather to assume the sick role to gain sympathy and special attention, often given to people who are truly ill. On the other hand, malingering is characterized by the intentional falsification of symptoms with a clear objective in mind, like personal or financial gain. Unlike FD, malingering isn't considered a mental health condition because the malingerer has control over their actions and is driven by external incentives.
Oh, who does that sound like to you? Seriously, this girl is a piece of work, but I definitely got to give it to her. With this new channel that you're going to develop, have you developed it yet? I don't really know because I can't, I definitely don't want to follow you. Can't stand following you. My 20-year-old daughter can't stand you. She don't like your voice. She's like, Mama, turn that off. I don't want to hear it. I mean, and my daughter loves everyone. But anywho, so while you're giving your life coach, you know, skills out there, you're going to be teaching people how to be a master manipulator like you and how to con people out of money because they can feel sorry for you because you're doing the same shit today. So if you're going to be a life coach of anything, why not be a life coach of how to mooch off of other people? Because, I mean, you're damn good at that, aren't you, girl?
Involve the fabrication of symptoms. The key difference between factitious disorder and malingering lies in the motivation behind these actions. In fact, the DSM-5 specifically states that the diagnosis of factitious disorder requires the absence of obvious rewards. So while yes, Dee Dee did present with pretty much all the symptoms of Munchausen by proxy on its surface, the difference lies in the motivation.
Financial, attention, charity.
And while malingering is not a mental health condition, it can be associated with certain psychiatric disorders such as antisocial personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, dissociative disorders, and substance use disorders. Deceitfulness, lack of remorse, reckless disregard for safety of self and others, repeated failure to sustain constant work are common features of FD and antisocial personality disorder. As such, the diagnostic criteria here is not met. This is simply not a case of factitious disorder or Munchausen by proxy, according to the DSM-5. Despite this, Dee Dee Blanchard basically became the symbol for Munchausen by proxy.
Which makes this disorder even more confusing because someone got diagnosed with it that was never diagnosed with it whenever they were alive. I mean, what the fuck, you know? And that's just sad because the people that really are it and the people that really have lived it and survived it, you know, they get screwed out of it because of this shit here. There's no doubt that Dee Dee wasn't like a gypsy and like to make people feel sorry for her and mooch off of people. You know, there's plenty of lazy motherfuckers in the world that don't want to work, and they are really, really good at that mouthpiece of getting money from other people. So, sure, guilty. But did that give her daughter a right to unalive her? No. Sure, her head was almost severed off. The woman was definitely religious. She had a lot of religious stuff in her home and everything. But she just, you know, had that lazy shit streak going in her, which a lot of people do. I mean, I work 2 jobs. I'm a single mom, and I put my 20-year-old through college by myself, okay? And I'm a hard-ass worker. And I earn my money legit. Nobody feels sorry for me. I don't want nobody to feel sorry for me. I earn my money. Y'all don't forget to give some love over there to True Crime Design. And this video that we're commenting on is why Dee Dee Blanchard isn't the monster you think she is. I will put the description to this video, to the description of this video below. Also, you should definitely watch Good Wives Network? Hang on, we're about to see.
It's Fancy, and you're watching the Good Wives Network. Hey guys, it's Fancy, and you're watching the Good Wives Network.
Fancy and her team at the Good Wives Network were provided Gypsy's medical records by the family in a deal whereby Fancy was to produce a documentary telling Gypsy's story many years ago. However, the project fell through when, after years of reviewing the records and researching the facts, Fancy and her team made a discovery within the records that cracks the case wide open, exonerating Dee Dee's character and exposing what appears to be the true motive for the crime. By reviewing the medical records, Fancy would learn that Gypsy was born with a rare chromosome disorder. Chromosome 1q to 1.1 microdeletion syndrome, a rare chromosome abnormality that develops when there is missing genetic material on chromosome 1. The effect of this genetic variation ranges from being barely perceptible to being obvious and severe.
Hang on, not to be ugly or nothing, but when you look at these children that have the same thing Gypsy has, if I had a picture, I could throw it up there. She favors them.
Types of a 1q to 1.1 microdeletion
Yep, there she is.
are neurological psychiatric problems, microcephaly or small head, epilepsy, facial dimorphism, loose joints, low muscle tone, cataracts, and other eye problems. Again, this diagnosis is found within the medical records and even corroborated by Rod Blanchard, Gypsy's father.
Dee Dee told me she would need a wheelchair. You know, and I asked her, man, she said, well, she's got a lot of issues. What's going on, you know? And they had done some tests and found out she had a chromosome disorder that was causing all of her functions from developing, her digestive system and her muscular system.
I nicknamed her Possum because she looked like a little possum, little bitty possum eyes.
Dee Dee started telling me that she's got.
I believe that's about the third video that was made of Gypsy. And you know what? I've heard her father say that he knew that she was in good hands with Dee Dee. And then you can see other content creators coming out showing where Dee Dee was letting him claim her on taxes, which she didn't have to do that, but she did. It does appear though that she was definitely a master manipulator. She was really good at helping people feel sorry for her and her daughter and getting money donated, and all that stuff. But she wasn't as good as Gypsy because they still lived like below poverty and shit. But she was a survivor. But Gypsy is definitely way further up there than old Mama Dear was. Just remember, Gypsy, you got you a daughter too, so never know. That's all I know. I mean, I don't know, the apple might not fall far from the tree.
Problems with her eyes, seizures, her digestive system. After that, Gypsy couldn't walk anymore. She had a muscular disorder. Dee Dee started telling me they're running tests, they're trying to find out what's going on with her. She's got a lot of issues.
In 2000, they ruled out muscular dystrophy because they were doing testing to try to find out the chromosome disorder that they knew she had.
All right, you guys, definitely go over to the Good Wives Network. They've got a lot of good videos too. So we're going to go ahead and have this be the end of our video and reaction onto it. I just wanted to show a little bit, Dee Dee, I just don't think people, I just don't think that her legend should be like it is, like I don't think that's what God would want either. And I just think that, he would want her to be known as a good person. God is a very forgiving God. And I truly, truly do wish, hope, and pray that Miss Gypsy Rose will redeem herself, start advocating for the abuse that she had, the cons that she learned from her mother. Learn from your childhood to be a better person. I truly, truly, truly do hope that eventually you will travel down a different road than what you're traveling down today. And most importantly, do it for your daughter. Do it for your baby girl. There's nothing more great in this world than having a daughter. I have a son and I have a daughter, and obviously I'm more close to my daughter, but I love them both dearly. Single mom, doing it all by myself. And I've done it all by myself from Jump Street. So, hey, look, also another thing I'm not good at is love. Definitely not lucky in love, but I learn from my shit and I move on. And, I do pretty good for myself. So I'm very, very independent. Anywho, until next time, guys, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. And don't forget to give some love to the channels that we have talked about over the last couple of days. I'm going to link this video in the description below. And as always, have a good night.